Hello and welcome to my Minecraft sketchbook. This episode is going to be all about the random dungeon generator and how it works, how I put it together, and how some of my thinking kind of evolved to kind of accommodate some of its challenges, etc., etc. So let me just show you over here. I've got over here a couple of. Oh look, it's not. Let's bring all this to bear. There we go. So over here we've got a couple of maps, and these were kind of my old maps. Let's make sure all the blocks are loaded. Load the blocks. So these are some of the old maps that I've been creating, and I originally had tried to do a set block for this whole structure. That kind of map did not work. It failed miserably. The lag was intense, and eventually broke the map. So I can only really use this map within MC Edit, and I kind of pull things out and put things back in again. There's been lots of suggestions on my YouTube channel about possible using teleportation, so using a random teleporter. So as you complete a room, say we're in the yellow room over here, and we walk through, we do a player detection, something or other, and it teleports us immediately up or down a level, which would be terrific and actually quite easy to do. And then we would arrive in this one, we'd be like, oh, we're now in the red room, okay, and then we walk through the red room and it would make a little random generation calculation, and we could be teleported either back to the red room or one of 4 options. So that is quite a nice idea, and to be honest, I might return to it. But what I've been trying to do for this one is to create these set block towers that connect together, okay, and they may live inside these structures. So what I might be doing is just creating the interior of rooms, okay. The lighter I make the set block, so the less set blocks I need to create, the quicker it runs. Okay, and we saw, there was a video I did yesterday, and you can see how quickly it gets put together, and then there is a little bit of a pause, but we could actually fit some sort of story in there to create that, make sure that pause isn't too bad, and put a door in or something like that, and that could actually be physically there. So this is the example one I did. You can see over here I created a little map, and the red and the blue sections represent the X and the Z. So I needed to, this map here, when you walk across here, I wanted to set a block that is in this area here. So I needed to measure how many Z by how many X, because I needed to set a redstone block at the bottom. So when they're put together, and you can see them in the distance over there, they form a grid. And again, they haven't got the platform at the top spawned in yet, set blocked. What they're waiting for is a redstone block to be put here. As soon as it's put here, this block here deletes it, but a signal is starting to be sent around here. Signal gets sent around here, and I've slowed that signal down because we also want to do immediately another calculation. And here we create a trigger. So I say remove at player trigger 1. Okay, so basically the trigger triggers the calculation of the random number, and that's just done through this thing over here. So I've got a kind of master clock here that's creating lots of ticks. That is constantly testing for a trigger of 0 for a player within like 2000 radius. So when I remove one, you can see on the right there I've got the common people 1. When I remove one, it does that. This sends a signal down here. This puts it back together again. So almost immediately I stop that, but the signal's already gone. Signal's already gone up to this machine up here. So the signal stops. When the signal stops, this machine goes into order and chooses one of 4 options. Each of these will then set, I've got another scoreboard. I've got 2 scoreboards. One's a trigger, which is just basically 0 or 1. And this one is level. Now levels go 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 0 is like a null level. So that always happens pretty fast, but it does take a little bit of time, pretty fast. But by that time, that's calculated the number. Our redstone has reached this level here. So that means we can now test for what the level is. So this one tests for if it's level 1, so it's a minimum of maximum of 1 and a minimum of 1. And if it is 1, then we set the block of redstone up the top, and then we also reset level to null or nil. So that sends a redstone block to here, which sends this section will create a platform, and so on and so forth. So if it's level 2, this one, level 3, this one, or level 4, that one. So it just does that. So it sets a block. So it sets all this, and these, because I've carefully figured it all out, these connect to each other. So let's demonstrate once again what's going on. Here's one I haven't done. So as I walk across this platform here, it sends a group of signals over, chooses a random number, sends that, gives us a level. We can then test for whether that level, what the level is, and then that level is spawned in front of us. Now that all happens under here. So here we go. This sets a redstone block in this empty space here, which initializes these 3 blocks. The first block removes it. Okay, this block down here sets the redstone block into this area here, which will then in turn test for which level it is and spawn this area up here. And then this block, which is my problem block at the moment, what that one's supposed to do is remove this one, but of course it's trying to, what it removes, it removes air even before that's been spawned in. So these don't really work yet, because what happens is, let's look behind me, that's orange, this one's blue. If I walk across this one, I've now set that one off, and now it's turned to blue. So that's it's not a huge problem. It's turned to yellow. But what I've got to do is I've got to get rid of these platforms somehow. I've got to make them so they only used once. And if you're walking towards one, the one that you're walking towards is not available either. And I suspect what I've got to do is I've got to put some mechanics in this area here, and maybe add another scoreboard that would test for whether I've, which direction I'm coming in, one of 4 directions, which is quite reasonably easy to do, and then remove that pressure plate or remove that block under there, and also do the same for the one that you've just walked across as well, because you only want these to be used once either way. So that's basically it. That's how this whole system works. It works pretty well. What I'm thinking of doing is, instead of random blue bits of wool, obviously we could have a challenge, some sort of puzzle or mob, and a unique piece of loot for each one as well. The reason why I'm doing this is because these towers have 4 potentials, and you can just, and what I did is I went to MC Edit and I copied and cloned them in that direction and in that direction, etc. And it's easy to set up a map as big as you could imagine, and I set this one off as the sort of beginning section. So we start here and we can kind of wander around this kind of big dungeon area. Now, so that's kind of it really. I think it's got a lot of potential. I think I can make it even faster, again by kind of reducing the amount of stuff. These are whole platforms. We don't have to produce platforms. We could produce command blocks that then in turn spawn a mob and spawn chests and other bits and pieces too. So there's all sorts of stuff that we could do in an already created, as you see over here. We could have the actual rooms already there, just like over here, and what we're actually spawning is the random objects and the random challenges and the random loot for each room, rather than the room itself. I think that's probably the way I'm going to go. So anyway, so there you go. That's how I did this. It's reasonably straightforward. I might tidy this all up and turn it into a little map that you can kind of play with and have a look at, poke about in, because the it took me a while. It started on a piece of paper. So here's my channel. Here's my kind of how I sort of set it up. Set block redstone. This one removes the redstone. This one removes the opposite command block, which in theory it would have done. And this one is the redstone trigger. And I kind of planned it all out on the floor, and then this was my kind of my set block structure. Again, another little plan, and you can kind of see, this took me a while to sort of, lots of writing stuff down. If we go down here, we can kind of see how I figured out where the redstone should be placed, and I even created, just to make sure it was working. I created things like this, so it would set block a little bit of stone on top. So I knew I was doing it right, because if you do one thing wrong and then you go into MC Edit and you kind of pull this back together again, and then it doesn't work, then you don't quite know what bit isn't working. So each stage was meticulously tested to see if it would work, I did that because I made so many mistakes in the past. Not doing that this was the only way of doing it. So I hope that's mildly inspiring, and if anybody would like to see the download and stuff like that, let me know in the comments. Do subscribe, do let me know that you like it, and I'll see you again soon. Until next time, take care. Bye bye.